You and I are going wine shopping together. You can find a sensational bottle of wine for criminally low prices. Let's get started exploring and tasting new wines together. We're doing another fun episode, I love these, where we go to regions that are not known for being affordable. In fact, this region is known as one of the most expensive and opulent regions in the world. These wines are not known for being attainable or affordable. Some people even purchase these wines while they're still in barrel, before they're barely ready to drink, just to get in on the ground floor of this wine investment. So pack your bags because we are heading to the legendary region of Bordeaux. Bordeaux sits on the southwestern side of France, right along the Atlantic coast. Grapes and viticulture have been here for almost 2,000 years. And this proximity to the coast and the estuary and rivers that run through the region are hugely important for the history of Bordeaux. As a region with a port city, wines were easily exported to outside markets in Europe, especially with England, when the area fell under British rule upon the marriage of Henry Plantagenet and Eleanor of Aquitaine in 1152. Until the 1650s, much of Bordeaux's famous left bank was marshland, until enterprising Dutch merchants drained the area, which is now planted with some of the most famous vineyards in the world. In 1855, for the World's Fair, Napoleon III created the Grand Cru Classé classification system for the left bank red and dessert wines. This ranking was based solely on the wine's market price at the time, with the most expensive red wines, 4 at the time, being labeled first growth, the next tier being second growth, and so on through 5 different tiers. With one exception, these tiers have remained the same, with no movement or modification. Before that nasty root louse phylloxera swept through and decimated the vineyards of Bordeaux, Malbec was the most planted red grape. Afterwards, when the vineyards were replanted, the hardier Cabernet Sauvignon, an accidental crossing between Sauvignon Blanc and Cabernet Franc, started to be planted more than the finicky Malbec grape, which is now planted in very limited quantities. The right bank of Bordeaux didn't get its own classification system until 1955, with the region of Saint-Emilion classifying and ranking their chateaux based on quality. Every 10 years or so, they reclassify, so chateaux have to stay on their game if they want to remain at the top. The left and right banks of Bordeaux are separated by the Gironde estuary and make very different styles of wines. For the purposes of today's BYOB, we are going to focus in on the red wines. The left bank tends to produce a blend that is Cabernet Sauvignon dominant, with the rest of the blend being made of Merlot, Cabernet Franc, Petit Verdot, and Malbec, and occasionally Carmenere. These wines tend to be more muscular and need more time to age before being drinkable. On the right bank, the wines tend to be more Merlot dominant, with the exception of producers like Cheval Blanc that rely more on the Cabernet Franc grape. These wines tend to be softer and more plush and more approachable and drinkable when they're young. Again, I say tend to because there are always exceptions. There are plenty of left bank wines that are easy to drink when they're young, and plenty of right bank wines that need some time. But I want to start scratching the surface on this wine. This is the Baron de Taste Reserve Margaux. Margaux is a subregion in the Médoc or left bank, and this is home to one of those very famous top-tier first growth chateaux called Chateau Margaux. Very, very expensive wine, but this bottle is only $14.99 at your local Trader Joe's. The wines of Margaux tend to be very elegant and floral as opposed to other subregions in the Médoc like Saint-Estèphe or Pauillac, which are a little bit more muscular and rustic. I couldn't find any breakdown on the blend of grapes in this. I'm going to assume that it's Cabernet Sauvignon dominant because it is left bank, again with the rest being made up of Merlot, Cabernet Franc, maybe a little Petit Verdot or Malbec in there as well. It is a lovely medium in intensity, so it's not super pale, but it's also not super opaque. I can see through this a little bit. Lovely ruby color. Mentioned elegant floral. Floral notes are absolutely jumping out of the glass here. These lovely violet notes, which are very typical of the left bank. And then these dark fruit notes. So you have black cherry, plum, black currant. There's a fun licorice note on here as well. And then you get from the oak, which is mostly neutral, I imagine, based off of the smell. These lovely cedar notes, a little bit of baking spice notes, but not a lot. If it was more present, if the percentage of new oak was higher in this, you'd be getting more apparent vanilla notes, more apparent baking spice notes, but it's nicely balanced out by the rest of the notes in here. You get this lovely graphitiness, tobacco. I always love a nice tobacco note, and that's something as Bordeaux ages, that tobacco note just comes out really nice and rich. A little bit of mintiness on this as well, that green characteristic that you find in Cabernet Sauvignon and other grapes in its family. They express themselves sometimes as green bell pepper, jalapeno, mint, eucalyptus. You get all these things in different ranges depending on where those grapes are growing, where this wine's being produced. And this is just a nice little mintiness. Lovely, I'm just getting more and more. I opened this a little bit earlier today and it's starting to open up really nicely. I think it could even take a little more time. This is definitely Cab dominant, Cabernet Sauvignon dominant. I say that because there are some nice tannins on here, medium plus. It's going to feel like this lovely sandpaper fuzziness across your teeth and your gums. So astringency, lovely acidity though as well. Medium plus I would say on that. Medium to medium plus body, nothing too heavy or clunky. It's still nice and lifted. Medium alcohol, maybe medium plus. Some of these can get up there a little bit, but Bordeaux tries to keep it down. 13.5%, very typical. And yes, all of the, I love that spiciness of the baking spice notes, or this like anise note, and all of those dark juicy fruits, which are ripe, a little tart, dare I say. Leatheriness comes out as well. It's there a little bit, but it really comes out nicely when these wines age. This wine has a little bottle age on it. It's 2019, which is 4 years, which seems incredible to me because I thought 2019 was last year. So it's got a little bit of time to soften up. This could probably go another couple of years. It's not designed to age for a super long time, but it has enough structure that it could go a little bit. I always love these wines, again, from these regions that a lot of people like to kind of gatekeep, like, oh, you can't have Bordeaux unless it's, you know, unless you have the money. Same with Burgundy, some regions in Italy, Champagne. And while it is true that when you get to these top level of wines, or even, you know, towards the top, you don't have to go top, there is a marked difference. There is no way that this is going to taste like a first growth Bordeaux. That's just not how that works. But this is still a lovely wine. And for $14.99, this is a lovely gateway into Bordeaux. And you can see just how lovely it is and what it's capable of. Hopefully one day you get to taste one of those crazy Bordeaux wines. Call me, let me know when you're doing it, especially if it's Cheval Blanc, gimme. But we can't all afford that all the time, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't all get to drink these wines and experience them, which is why I just love finding these, like I've done the Chateauneuf de Pape, the Barolo. We should all get to drink these top tier wines, but you know, yeah. It's not gonna be the exact same as a bottle that's costing you $500+. This is a wine for you carnivores. This is beautiful braised, grilled meats, stews. It's gonna be great with a steak, great with lamb. You could potentially do this with a fish, but nothing delicate. It depends how it's presented. Perhaps some kind of grilled, you know, meatier fish with some more bite to it. Great with mushrooms, truffles, great with some more sharp cheeses, a sharp cheddar. I highly recommend you go check this out, or you can find a lot of similar approachable Bordeauxs at your local wine store. Just ask the people who work there. They're very, very knowledgeable, and there are ways to drink Bordeaux. There are ways to drink these more premier regions without paying a crazy amount of money. There are ways to do it. And this is one of them. So I hope you enjoy it. Go pick up a bottle. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any other tips to give out to everybody, any other bottles that they should be trying. And please keep exploring and trying new wines until we drink again. Cheers.